victory. The last man came in. It was Wilfred Rhodes. He joined his fellow Yorkshireman George Hirst at the crease. Hirst and Rhodes were both born in the small Yorkshire town of Kirkheaton. They had played club cricket together. Hirst had already become the popular hero of Yorkshire cricket when he advised Rhodes, 6 years his junior, to apply for a county trial. In the Yorkshire dressing room, he would affectionately refer to Rhodes as young Wilfred. Whether the more introverted Rhodes appreciated this reminder of his rookie status remains unconfirmed. But at this moment, Wilfred Rhodes must have felt history repeating itself. Just over 2 weeks before, in the previous test, Rhodes had been in the same situation, watching in agony at the non-striker's end as the fall of Fred Tate's wicket gave Australia the Ashes. Now the familiar figure of George Hirst greeted young Wilfred as he approached the middle. What would Hirst say to his young comrades? "We'll get 'em in singles, Wilfred," has been the popular legend. Neither Hirst nor Rhodes were able to clearly remember Hirst's words, but singles seems unlikely. It wasn't a common cricket parlance at the time. Whatever the strategy, Rhodes quickly found himself facing the high action of Hugh Trumbull, bowling round the wicket with fielders close in on the leg side. Trumbull's off-break jumped almost vertically from a good length and Rhodes gloved it. Victor Trumper made a dive forward, but it fell to safety. Hirst took a single from Monty Noble and reached his 50. There were celebrations, but such was the tension, they were now tempered with anxiety. Rhodes edged the next ball. It went through the slips for 4, 10 to win, 9 to tie. Australia only needed 1 wicket. The next over, Rhodes edged close to Warwick Armstrong in the slips. Armstrong got a hand to it, but being overbalanced, could not hold on. A narrow escape. Rain was now falling, and the ball was slippery, but Trumbull retained his nagging accuracy. At the other end, Monty Noble, operating with an offside field, tried to tempt Rhodes with a half volley outside off stump, but even at the relatively young age of 24, Rhodes was a cricketer with great reserves of patience and discipline. He refused to take the bait. In the crowd, tension was at its peak. Nails were dug into hands. An elderly man bit through the handle of his umbrella. A police officer on the boundary began to weep. The strain was too much for some, who simply headed for the exit. Hirst decided against farming the strike. He ran a single off Trumbull, leaving Rhodes to face the remaining 5 balls. Trumbull almost had him caught and bowled. Hirst adjusted his pads between deliveries, adding to the high drama. Trumbull bowled his 37th consecutive over. He had bowled unchanged for Australia throughout the match. Hirst ran a single. Then Rhodes scored a single to the off. Hirst went for another single, but a wayward incoming throw from the fielder hit Hirst on the shoulder, bouncing away to enable the batsman to run a second. Hirst laughed as he came back on strike. The normally solemn Rhodes also broke into a smile, but Australia were not laughing as Hirst took another single off the last ball of the over. Noble bowled to Hirst. Hirst straight batted the first 5 of the over, then took a single off the last ball to great cheers from the crowd. Trumbull came in again. Hirst pushed another single and the scores were tied. England could not lose. Some of the crowd had worked themselves up into a frenzy. A parson dementedly ran onto the pitch. Rhodes faced Trumbull. He played the next 3 balls with care. It was now the 5th ball of the over. The tall Australian went over to the sawdust heap, rubbed the ball in and bowled. Rhodes came forward, like the opening batsman that he would one day become. He pushed the ball past mid-on and ran. So did Hirst, and they kept on running all the way into the crowd, who swarmed onto the pitch. It took Hirst a full quarter of an hour to get through the mass of people and rejoin his England teammates. England had won the test by just 1 wicket. The Oval Test of 1902 became known as Jessop's match. His glorious century had turned around England's fortunes. But in Yorkshire, it came to pass that when anyone was asked who was the greatest all-rounder who ever lived, they would answer, he bowled left-handed, batted right-handed, and came from Kirkheaton. They were talking about George Hirst and Wilfred Rhodes.